Welcome back, everybody, after a long time. Um, Today, we're going to talk about user story mapping. This is in continuation to the topics that were covered before, which is user personas, the user stories, and the user journeys. And let's probably take a step back and kind of review what we have known about user stories. So user stories are basically an explanation of a user's need, probably like a product description, a planning item. It's a token for conversation, and it's a mechanism for differing conversation, basically negotiation. So this is something that comes way back from Ken Beck. You can look at his book. This is just a snippet from the book here. So that's what user stories are. Once we have the user stories, we start planning with them. So today we kind of plan it based on a very linear model, and that doesn't work. And that's where user story mapping comes in. I'll probably first talk about what is user story mapping before we will talk about why we needed it and what it is. A user story mapping is just a simple technique that allows us to add multiple dimensions, a second dimension to your backlog. This enables you to see the big picture of the product backlog. What I mean by that is you can always relate back to the goal of the user and why you needed to build the product in the first place, and then how did the tasks and the subtasks, basically the features of the product, started coming out of that. All of this laid out very sequentially and chronologically so that the user's journey in the product comes out very clearly. So that's basically what user story mapping is for. So why did we need this? So the typical user story backlog does not make it visible. It's pretty, it's just a list. It kind of makes it very tough for us, and hence we needed user story maps that actually are more visual, show relationship of a bigger story to its child stories. For example, you could just say, hey, I want to search, but then you could break it down to say that, hey, I want to search by name, I want to search by phone number, and all those smaller things map to the larger story, which again maps to the goal of why the user really wanted to search in the first place. Helps confirm how much more is left in your product to build. Helps give a very useful context for prioritization. When you walk it through with the users or the proxy users, which is basically the product owners or the product managers, you will have a basis for prioritization. What is more important? Which user journeys do you really want to enable? Apart from that, it helps with planned releases and hence pretty complete and valuable slice of information. And this is an example of a user story map. I will show a better picture of what I have done in my previous life, so please wait for that. The foundational building block of a user story map is a task, a user task. User task is, don't confuse it with the user story at this point of time. A user task is most about the most atomic thing that the user will do with this product. It could just be click on the search result. So that's how micro you can go really with the user story map. It doesn't mean you have to, it just you can do that. So why did we really need it in the first place? If you go to the pyramid of how basically things start, you actually have the business goals or the user goals, and then you have the user groups, the personas, and then what do they do? What are the activities and tasks they do to achieve that goal? And then what features do we need to build in the product to help them do the task and activity? And this is basically how we started. So I'm going to skip some of this. So the way you will build a user story map is basically to start with telling the bigger part of the story of the product, which is basically the goals or the activities to achieve that goal, and lay it down chronologically, just like how it is in this deck. So from left to right, start laying it down chronologically, and then start breaking it down to the next level, which talks about what are the things that you need to do to achieve that activity. What are the tasks that you need to do to achieve that activity? It can be n level, you can just keep going. And you can also at some point of time put in a very parallel set of tasks that the user can do with the product to achieve that goal. For example, search by name is one of them, and search by phone number is the other one. The search results could still have the same information, but you have two ways to get to it. This gives us a fairly good complete set of requirements that can be seen in context with the task or the activity and the goal the user wants to achieve, and the time dimension along with the priority dimension. So hence the multi-dimensional view of a backlog is achieved. So we call this the backbone and walking skeleton. The backbone is at a very high level an abstracted set of features that the user would have to do, or the tasks and activities. A walking skeleton is a software that enables that When prioritized, it will give you the bare minimum product that you would have to build. What these days we call it as an MVP, um, and that's basically it. What we can do with the user story map is for us to be able to run prioritization by prioritizing each one of them and talking about how do we plan each of them. This is an example. You can actually carve out releases out of these tasks, and this can help the users as well as the product owners, the product managers to be able to understand exactly what's going on in a product and what enables them to do a specific feature or functionality. Having said this, probably also for loop you guys into the article from Jeff Padden. It's right here. I'll leave this link in my video. I also want to quickly show one of the things that I did. So this is a very simple user story map. So the one in the blue here is the goal the user has. The yellow stickies are the tasks, and for each one of these tasks, these are the subtasks. So this way, you can easily lay out a very visual map. In fact, you can even build it with your users, and hence, you can kind of work through that and try to prioritize and try to get this through. I hope this helped everybody. Thanks a lot. Please leave your feedback. I'll include more links in the video. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.